Hi there. I'm Keira Sedgwick, Deputy Chief Brenda Lee Johnson, and you're getting an exclusive look into the making of episode 603, From the Script to the Screen. Take a look.
For the last 7 days, the cast and crew of The Closer have been working day and night in preparation for episode 603. They've held meetings, been on location scouts, and constructed new sets. Now the crew gathers for their final production meeting. Join us as TNT takes you on set for an exclusive look behind the scenes. They have 7.5 days to wrap episode 603, and shooting starts Monday.
All right, everybody, welcome to episode 603, In Custody, written by our own Michael Alaimo. And directed by our returning fearless leader, Michael M. Robin. And first AD here is D. Mac, who will be taking us through the script page by page, hopefully in a timely manner.
Yes, sir. Scene 3 at the bottom of page 3. This is our Monday night shoot. Gabriel's at the crime scene.
The cast and crew are on location in Hollywood for their first day. They've got lights, cameras, and of course, a dead body.
This scene is interesting because we have a dead body, we have lots of blood, we're gonna have crime scene tape everywhere.
And now we're gonna have the marking rehearsal.
I thought we were done.
Not quite, but almost. That's a lot of tape on the ground. You have to shoot this. Yeah, that might be the most tape I've ever seen in one place in terms of all the marks.
The tape on the ground, this is not trash, these are actually marks. Each colored tape is for a different character in the show.
Yeah, it represents like he's white.
I'm white. I think Provenza's yellow. Tal might be green. Buzz is blue. So they put the marks down so that when they're blocking for camera and lighting, they'll know where each character is supposed to stand.
Set and background.
It's taken almost 3 hours for this setup, and the director has finally given the okay to roll the cameras.
Evening, Chief. Sorry to bother you. We got rolled out to cover for Hollywood tonight. Apparently they're all at a retirement party.
Cut.
With a cast of this size, the script supervisor's job is crucial, making sure everyone is on their marks.
What we do is we keep track of all the continuity and making sure that everything is fluid. Anyone forgets a line, I can throw it. We hate leaving the victims' loved ones behind.
Oh, what did I say? Victims of the loved ones?
Yes.
Victims' loved ones.
I give the editors notes on what each shot is, what the camera angles are, who's on screen at the time, and so it's like a roadmap.
One of the most thankless jobs, no, actually it's one of the coolest jobs in The Closer, is playing the weekly victim. You get covered in blood.
There's a woman that's dead in that Mercedes over there, and it's very important that the difference between a suicide and a homicide may be something simple as a very small blood pattern. In this particular case, that's the way it is. If you don't catch that blood pattern or it's not interpreted properly, this ends up a suicide. And this show, we try to make this as real as it is. This girl will have blood running down her hand, but she does not have any what we call blowback. And that's as somebody puts a gun up to their head and fires it. There should be a splatter back into her hand. That's not here, so that's why we have our doubts that this is a suicide.
The stunt sequence is next. This time they hold back the stunt doubles, and guest star Jeffrey Aaron makes a run for it.
It's 3:30 in the morning. We just finished our stunt sequence. A lot of times you'll use stunt doubles, but in this situation you chose to use the real actors. How come?
Because it was safe. I knew they both could do it.
And it's much better if you can actually get the actors to do the collision, if you can do it safely, because then you don't have to do all sort of strange cuts and weird angles where you actually don't see the faces of the stunt players. It was nice to see our actual actors do the stunt themselves.
Hey guys, that's a wrap. Good job.
Although it's 3:30 in the morning, it's a short day for the crew.
3:30 a.m. Pretty good. Hold on, sir.
My pleasure. Thank you, Mike.
With day one under their belt, it's back to the production office, where John Tenney meets up with the writer of this episode.
One thing a lot of people don't know about making a TV show is just how many people it takes to put it up on screen. I mean, they see the actors up there, but behind the scenes, so much is going on. And there are people everywhere in all these rooms working to create this one episode. Where does it all begin? It begins with, of course, the story and the writers.
Imagine this, you're here hard at work.
Very good to see you.
Have a seat.
You don't mind if I invite some of these people in?
No, not at all.
This episode, In Custody, you wrote it, but now we have a team of writers here on the show. So how does that all work?
We come in beginning of the season, we sit down with James Duff, our showrunner, and he has, over the hiatus, talked about what the theme of the season is going to be, and this season is about attraction. So every episode we kind of will be a meditation about that idea.
And I'm just curious, you as a writer yourself, your writing process, do you like to sort of speak out loud the idea? I mean, do you sort of have an argument in your own head with playing both different roles in a scene or something?
You mean as I'm writing it?
Yeah, as you're writing.
Yeah, I mean, you're certainly here speaking in how I'd imagine Fritz to speak, for example. I'm trying to channel that, and the way Brenda speaks, you kind of just keep those in mind.
So it all begins with the script and all these scripts and
I have some reading to catch up on.
Yes, yes.
It's day 2. We're on location at the real Los Angeles Police Department.
They're in the taco cart. Just grab them from there. Dave's bringing that down right now.
The transportation department to make sure that they have all the equipment at the right place at the right time and all the people shuttled into their location.
Pretty exciting about Pope, don't you think?
Shooting here definitely adds authenticity to the show, but it also has some challenges.
There's a lot of people coming in and out of the facility, and we need to work around them. We want them to get to where they're going, and we want to be able to do what we need to do, which is make the show.
With such a tight shooting schedule, the assistant director's job is critical to keep the show moving.
We have this scene, and once we get this, we're going to get a rehearsal for the next scene, and we'll break for lunch after that. My job basically is to, as soon as I get the script, I break it down into all the elements, all the scenes. If there's special effects or special props or action like a stunt, I'll make up a schedule of shooting. Coming out of the break room, this is overlapping from the other day. Rehearsal, scene 17, door starts shut, and act. It's a lot harder than it seems. There's so much that goes on behind the scenes. There's so much work that every department does. It's amazing to me sometimes that we get it all finished in time. Pictures up.
Day 3 takes us on location again, where the crew is busy setting up.
We're using this crane here, it's a Lenny 2.
With a crane of this size, safety is the #1 concern.
The driveway's very steep, the terrain's very steep, so we put it on track so we could level it a lot easier.
So one big move, you're gonna go past them, and then you're gonna go and trade over here.
Once the crane's movement is set, the filming begins.
Excuse me, ma'am. I'm Lieutenant Flynn. This is Deputy Chief Johnson from the LAPD. Is Darren Tatum here?
Very, very important part of the whole process is the casting. And we happen to have brilliant casting directors, and they're right over here. Imagine that. Now, this particular episode, In Custody, can you tell us what you were looking for the different guest stars in this, the criminals?
Well, the first thing that troubled us was that we had to find a 60-something grandmother, and that's what led us to Kay. It's a special kind of actor for this show because there's murders, but it's a little funny. So, you know, it has to be an actor with substance, but it has to be an actor with a sense of humor.
This isn't Hollywood.
Or you look great on the...
Let's do one.
The cast and crew are back on set. While they're relieved to be home, certain scenes can be challenging, especially for the sound department.
The hardest set is the murder room because there's so many people running around. Our responsibility is to record the dialogue and the best possible broadcast quality sound. I have 2 boom operators, Flash and Gale, and they do a great job out there on the set. It comes back to me and I mix the mics.
The set was an extremely challenging thing to produce because we only had a very limited time to build it. We had to tear down our old Parker Center, and we had to rebuild a set that looked like where the police moved. The police in Los Angeles moved, and so we had to move too. We couldn't stay in our old police headquarters building, and we wanted something that looked very much like what they had to work with.
You can look at this whole space like an empty page. This was an empty room, a huge empty soundstage. And then he went to work, she went to work, and this is where we are.
The Los Angeles Police Department moved into a new technologically superior building, and we've attempted to reflect that.
All of the lighting and the desks and the partitions and everything. I mean, it was a monumental job for weeks and weeks on end.
A part of the team you don't always see is the production office.
This is our wonderful friend who, she's the coordinator. I mean, look at her desk.
Look at my desk.
You can tell she's important.
This is our season, so episode 1 all the way through 15, all the way through wrap is our production season.
Yeah, G.W. Bailey, he's our temp PA. He answers the phone a lot.
I say things like, this is the closer, what the hell do you want?
Yeah.
No, I don't say that.
The real behind the scenes.
It's Central Station.
Day 5 moves into Brenda's office. While the crew makes sure the cameras are in focus, Director of Photography David Harp works to keep the look of the show consistent.
So you have the scene, we have the rehearsal, the actors, we make our choices, and then you have to figure out how to shoot it the way that we're doing it.
Pretty much it's that. They go where they want to, and I figure out where in the world we're going to light them from and how we're going to cover it with our 2 cameras.
Now you've got a couple other departments that branch out from the DP. Now you mentioned lighting.
Camera, grip, and electric. We have 2 camera crews, 2 operators, and 5 assistants. The electricians run all the cable and put up these giant lights, and then the grips, one of their responsibilities is to take the light and make it more presentable. So if there's too much light on a wall, we'll put in flags or cutters or diffusions, so it helps tell the story.
Moving on to day 6, which calls for some unique makeup effects.
Hi, I'm Michelle Tominski. I'm one of the department heads in the makeup department.
I'm the husband of the murder victim.
So we just line that up here to make sure where it's gonna go. And then we're just gonna go in and take this off and blend it all down. The bruising, the different colors that you see, it just gives kind of more of that eerie, dead look.
I feel great.
It's like I feel dead, I'm good.
Once the morgue scene is shot, they move on to the next set to discuss a potential issue.
We ran into a situation when we were trying to figure out the whole Tatum getting shot sequence, which was a very complicated scene. So we bring Detective Mike Burcham, who used to be a detective with robbery homicide with LAPD. I'll walk him into a set and go, all right, so what would happen here? How would this really happen?
No, I'm just saying, and when people shoot themselves like that, a lot of times they go right into this sort of slump position, and you'll see them in that.
Again, it's just about,
yeah.
I'd love to have an awful prosthetic and then all the blood oozing, but I can't get that on the air. And I think for the audience, it just makes more sense, and it doesn't feel sort of forced.
A big part of this crime scene is blood, and the props team has the perfect concoction.
It's blood. It's made with corn syrup and food color, and it's actually water soluble.
It's more over this direction.
And then we have some brain matter. It's cornflakes with dried fruit in it and soaked in blood. Go.
Okay. That looks pretty nasty.
I mean, if you want some out, I can take some of the chunkier stuff out.
No, I think let's walk away.
So we kind of try to stay true to blood. And then also make it something the camera can read too.
Once the crime scene is ready, the victim takes his spot.
I want this door open now. Open it!
Four Kings. Are you okay, Chief? We have gunshot wound, male, 30s. So as you can see, it takes a lot of people to pull just one episode together. And a place that's always buzzing, always fun is the wardrobe department.
At the helm, wardrobe designer Greg Lavoie.
Is there some sort of color scheme to the show? Are the characters coordinated to a certain degree?
I'll never tell. I'll never tell. No, actually there is. There's a whole color story that goes each week, kind of based on Brenda. If I've got her in pink and if you're one of her friends that week, then I'm going to have a little pink on you type of thing.
For someone who has the eye for design, who can whip something together up and just make it look fabulous, how hard was it for you to dress her down?
Not hard at all. Or for Brenda, I become that Southern belle shopping through, Macy's trying to find that perfect little, floral skirt.
Well, Greg Lavoie, our wardrobe designer.
Wardrobe sets the stage, but no look is complete without hair and makeup.
Kira is really good about letting me do storytelling through hair. For instance, in this episode, Brenda is having a fight with Fritz and her hair is a mess because she's at home for the night, so it's pulled back on a knot. She gets called out after the fight. I said to her, could you just have looked in the mirror and said, I can't do anything to my hair, throw a headband on out the door. And she said, sure, and let it happen. And so she does the whole rest of that script day messy and with a headband on.
So we're trying to keep it real.
It's real.
Within
it's
the
real.
character.
She's not going to sit there at 2 in the morning and curl her hair.
Stacey K. Black always has a whole hair story going on. There's an
Which you
arc.
obviously try and coordinate.
I do. I try to coordinate. I made a little chart. This is her makeup. It's not actually her face, but it's kind of what her makeup looks like. The biggest change I ever really make in her makeup is lipstick colors, and I get really excited about that.
Okay, this is the last scene of 603.
This is it.
It's the last day of shooting, and the cast and crew are all smiles as they shoot through the day. Kira has just finished shooting all of her scenes for episode 603. Just a few more scenes and everyone can go home.
Yeah, good night to see you.
We have been watching scenes being filmed. Right now, what we are all going to do is go over to what's called the post house. There, it's all put together into what you get to see.
Craig Bench, one of 3 editors on The Closer, is cutting this episode.
You guys are now in the editorial rooms. We cut this show on Final Cut Pro. All those tiny little windows are all different takes and setups. So he's got to make sense of all that and put it together in a cohesive scene.
Lieutenants? Hey! And, that's, probably 10 or 12 different setups right there in 15 seconds, of the cut.
Hi, my name's Jimmy Levine. I'm the composer on The Closer, and every week my job is basically to, as invisibly as possible, enhance the drama and the motion that you see.
So you can tell yourself what you did.
I thought that the final cut you did there was wonderful.
Oh, good.
You did a great job.
Good.
As the executive producers give final notes and make a few changes, the episode moves on to its final stages.
So the episode's almost all put together now. It's edited, we've added music, and the last step really is to go to our sound design guy, Bob Lasivita.
What we do here is we take all the final elements and put them all together, cut together all the dialogue, record Foley, do sound effects, music, and then take it all, load it in here, combine it all together, and hopefully not ruin the show.
I hope you've enjoyed our little show. It's been fun having you all watch us do what we do.
Well, there you have it. This episode of The Closer has taken us about 7.5 days to shoot and 4 weeks to edit. And as you can see, it takes a huge team of amazing, amazing people. And thanks to you, it's all worth it. So keep watching and make sure to enjoy the new season of The Closer on TNT.